The storming of Doloran. Now that the leprous evil had won the shadow of absolute evil.
자, 에픽무료게임 던전스3 시작하도록 하겠습니다. 중간에 좀 했었는데 한글 패치를 중간에 알아가지고 다시 시작하도록 하겠습니다.
The absolute evil had, in the famous predecessor to this game, subjugated the known world and defeated good. Now, in a world full of blackness and despair,
역시 한글이
it spent its days sipping cocktails from the skulls of its enemies and forging new plans over a grilled unicorn kebab. Unfortunately, there wasn't much left to forge. A few orc wedges, the occasional trick played on the little snots. There just wasn't anything left to conquer. As the weeks and months passed, the absolute evil grew ever more reticent
이거는
and
주인공이
seclusive.
마왕이라서
From time to time, one could hear a slight murmur from the depressed evil's super secret laboratory in the depths of the dungeon. Its creatures grew more worried with each passing day, and even started to miss its ingenious evil tricks. It was a somewhat confusing time for them. No beatings, no torture, and no being sent to a senseless death. On the other hand, it was a rather nice change. Eons passed, and the unicorn supply dwindled until suddenly, one wonderful day, the evil genius evil joyfully burst from its super secret laboratory. It finally had a new goal. An unknown continent, as often found in sequels, lay to the east, sheltered from the wicked evil by naught but a puny little ocean. It immediately had a fleet built. This was so powerful that it covered the horizon from north to south and was manned by the best and most powerful creatures at the devious evil's command. The fleet set sail for the crossing to this new continent, left the harbor, and sank. Yet that mattered naught to the couldn't give a hoot about its minions' evil. It instructed its goblins and little snots to design an even more powerful fleet. These new ships were gigantic. Loaded with devious evil's second-best creatures, the fleet set out. And that sank as well. The annoyed evil saved his relentless anger towards the shipbuilders for later. Obviously, it would have to take care of the matter itself. With a sigh, it cast a spell and created a shadow of itself, a creature of absolute darkness and evilness. This shadow flew across the water towards the east. There, it would find a vessel, a corruptible being that would subjugate this land in the name of evil, and the shadow had the perfect target in mind.
F2를 사용해서 즉시 던전 내부 모든 크리처를 공포의 손으로 모으거나 지상계에 있는 크리처들을 선택할 수 있답니다.
The great paladin Tanos, hero of the totally eastern kingdoms and a repugnantly good fellow. He was visiting the fatiguing library in Tristram with his comrades to see his foster daughter Talia.
Well now, Talia, tell me about your studies. Are you making progress with the writings of the ancient sages?
Yes, dear father. I have thoroughly digested it and have come a step closer to the good. The desire within me to do evil is defeated.
Really? Excellent. I am proud of you, my child. Continue to concentrate on your studies. I must go to Stormbreeze to clear up a few matters. I'll be back soon.
이게 모델링이나 지명, 이름 이런 게 다 약간 무슨 다른 게임에서 다 조금씩 흡사하게 만들어.
Aye, of course, Janos. I'll keep an eye on the damned elf. I mean, your daughter. You can count on me.
딸은 엘프야. 아빠는
I'll see you
인간.
soon, my friends. May the goddess watch over you and the light burn eternally.
Bon voyage, dear father. I'll make you so proud of me. Who does good is good.
Yuck.
다음보다
Disgusting phrases like that always leave such a nasty taste in my mouth. These abnormally good heroes, on the other hand, had no inkling of the malignity gathered to the south. One moment a herd of sheep was peacefully grazing, and the next moment, whoomph! With a fulminant explosive effect that filled up half our special effects budget, the shadow entered the world. His target, a dark elf caught between good and evil, was very close. As the shadow of the unspeakably evil moved through the world, all around it died. Plants withered. Animals perished.
제작자가
Sort of like a
블리자드
picnic with
바인가?
my family.
돼지장 똑같고. 이렇게 클릭 안 되고.
The shadow of the far-off evil found itself very, very close to Twistram. It could practically feel its target's presence.
Take these lanterns, men, and let the light of the goddess shine. For the night is dark and full of terrors. And there's a pile of horse poo around here somewhere. I trod in it earlier. For the darkness! I mean, for the light! Sorry, I'm still in training.
Yes, well, that is somewhat suboptimal. Naturally, the shadow of the almighty evil was an incredibly powerful creature. But, well, light was a bit of an issue. It would certainly be wise to stay out of the lantern light.
불은 피해서.
The shadow reached the entrance to Twistram. Fortunately, this one was not closed, but it was brightly lit. Luckily, there was an unfortunate guard on patrol that the shadow was able to possess, thanks to its incredible powers, as long as it wasn't in the light.
맨으로 빙의를 했습니다.
What was that? I think there was something wrong with that last beer.
Unfortunately, the shadow's possession only lasted a short while before the guard was able to free himself. Still, it was long enough to get past the gate. The shadow's target was close, so close. Talia, the dark elf. Soon she would fight on the side of evil.
May the goddess be with you, my friends. It will soon be time to open the orphanage in the fatiguing library. Come to the big square and join in the festivities.
Well, I don't know.
I had actually kind of planned to spend the evening in the bathhouse.
Friends, this orphanage is very important to my father. Tanos, you know, the mighty paladin, the one you really don't want to offend.
목소리가 사악해.
Yeah, all right, we'd love to come.
Excellent! May the light of the goddess shine upon you, and let us experience this exhilarating spectacle in the big square together. Follow me, my friends, for evil, the light, I mean. Keep the light burning bright, for the night is dark and full of terrors or errors or something like that.
좋아. 탈리아, 엘프. 빙의. 횃불 들고 있잖아. 오, 뭐야? 어디 가? 이게 1단계라 별로 어렵진 않고. 대마법사 모으면 횃불을 안 들고 있어야지 빙의를 할 수 있다. 뭔가
stop holding the lantern in my face like that, boy.
별수.
I am Grimly, king of the dwarves, and I am used to the cold, dark tunnels under the mountains. I have no need of any stupid lamp shining into me eyes. Now I'm stuck with that damn pointy-eared... I mean, my good friend Tanos' foster daughter. Curse him. A dark elf is a dark elf, and nothing will change that. The girl will always be tainted. Should have cut her ears off when I had the chance.
회한을 가지고 있는 어떻게 갔었지? 아, 이쪽으로 갔구나. 워낙 빨리 풀리니까 가운데로 바뀌네.
Enough chit-chat, men. You stay here and secure the area. I have to go check my invention. Stay alert. I can feel something evil lurking in the area. And it's not just...
In the distance, one could hear the unbearably good bells of a church. They must be marking the opening of the orphanage in the fatiguing library. Heroes with lanterns began to stream in that direction. The crossing on a red signal evil shadow swore, or would have if it had a mouth, and tried to avoid the lanterns as much as possible.
My dear friends, we're gathered here to open this orphanage in the fatiguing library for our goddess, and in the name of my father Tanos. I'm glad to see so many of you here of your own free will.
입니다. 오, 이 어둠이 가니까 이 색깔이 변했어.
Finally, the time had come and the shadow of the past is...
My dear father would be very proud were he with us today. He would be overjoyed to see us give the young and the needy a place to live and thrive. That's why I'm happy to take this orphanage and destroy it utterly, and all of you with it. Die! I'll tear you to pieces.
압도적으로 강하고
I feel the power within me.
미쳐버렸어.
It's over 9,000!
Unimagined powers surfaced in Talia. The black magic of the Dark Elves. She immediately began to unleash these powers of chaos upon the world.
I will kill you all! Like lambs to the slaughter!
The Dark Elf raged through Twistrom's inexperienced guards. She thereby built up a tremendous inner energy, which she released into the world as a focused beam, while screaming, Kamehameha! Meanwhile, in the fatiguing library, they waited eagerly with coffee and cake for Talia to show up and open the new orphanage. the energy beam hit the cake with a resounding zap and reduced it to ashes. Oh yes, and the rest of the building and everyone inside it as well. The narcissistic evil patted itself on the shoulder for this. Or it would have, but the metal armor always made such a terrible clonking noise when it tried. But then again, that's what little snots are for. Obviously, the Dispatch Shadow had found a perfect vessel in the Dark Elf. Talia had already earned the title of Employee of the Month with the utter destruction of the fatiguing library, as well as half of Twistram. The destruction of an orphanage and the bombardment of innocent citizens with magic missiles immediately made her the minion-wasting evil's new favorite henchperson. Her evil deeds complete, Talia withdrew to the vaults beneath the ruins of the fatiguing library. There, between the slaughterhouse and mad Archbishop Lazarus' apartments, she prepared to create something powerful in the name of the absolutely ultimately evil.
다 워크에서 다 베꼈구나.
The cornerstone of any dungeon's power. Far away, Paladin of Light and Talia's former mentor, Tanos, was on his way to the Empire's capital of Stormbreeze. Naive and trusting as he was whistling cheerfully to himself, with no inkling of his foster daughter's dark deeds. Though he was aware that as a dark elf, she always had a core of evil in her. He had hoped to defeat it through religious indoctrination with ancient mad writings. Well, old bean, you thought wrong. The storming of Doloran. Now that the leprosy had won the pit fiend as an ally, it began preparations for the storming of Doloran. It was time for Yaina Overproud to die. The shadow of absolute evil, Talia the Dark Elf, had turned to evil and laid the fatiguing library in ruins. Now she began to build a small power base in its vaults. Her first dungeon, Twistram in ruins. Talia the Dark Elf
지옥으로 그냥 했던 거니까.
Twistram looked like the leftovers from a heavy metal concert.
트위스트로.
What? What have I done? Oh no! I've fallen to evil again. Father will be beside himself. He was right when he said, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Although, in a way, it was fun to be evil. Burning things, pillaging, and showing those nasty goody two-shoes where the hammer hangs. They just look down at me anyway. My revenge will be terrible.
그렇게 그녀는 악이 됐다.
While Talia was delivering a typical villainous monologue, something happened around her. From the depths arose a pulsating crystal filled with the magic-savvy evil's power. A dungeon heart. Not to be confused with those dungeon hearts from other games. We don't want to be sued again.
Hello, greetings. What seems to be your boggle?
Secret mental messages were exchanged between Talia and the mentally savvy evil's crystal. We could explain this in detail at this point, but that would require a 3-hour monologue on my part, and I am definitely not being paid enough for that.
Right then. I will make these people suffer for mocking me. Father's henchmen never liked me anyway, and always insulted me, calling me pointy-eared. It's time for my well-deserved revenge!
The game
처음에 영어를 쓸 때 엄청 삽질했었는데
an assignment. Out there on the surface were shamelessly good places in
많이
urgent
강해졌죠.
need of
그때랑은
destruction.
틀리지.
No problem. I'll take care of it. I and
그때랑
the
틀리다.
army.
Naturally, the strategically
행복하게.
well-versed evil did not send its new general into battle alone. A dungeon had to be built, and creatures hired to provide her with a powerful army. Of course, the sophisticatedly thinking evil already knew which way the wind blew in a dungeon. However, should it be hit by short-term memory loss, it could effortlessly look up
행복하게.
things in the fabulous almanac. The new improved research menu TM opened and gave an overview of currently available technologies. At the moment, the selection was still limited, but that would change. After all, this evil crusade had only just begun. There are countless spiders pouring out of a room that was accidentally unearthed. Disgusting.
혼자서 충분히 가능해.
Just wait.
좀 빠르죠? 숙련자야, 숙련자.
Your little snots have uncovered a dragon's nest.
이놈도 혼자 단계니까 뭐. 초 스피드로.
The exploring evil's
Okay.
little snots had discovered a room in the underground.
어디? 한글패치.
It's payday.
일단 일꾼들은 닭장이 필요 없는데 밥을 안 먹는데 이제 공격 유닛들은 밥을 먹기 때문에 닭장 먼저 지어줘야 되겠죠. 가깝게. 그냥 가깝게 지어야 돼.
There are countless spiders pouring out of a room that was accidentally unearthed. Disgusting.
거미 2마리. 를 지어주겠습니다. 모자랄 것 같다. 이제 숙소가 있으니까 일꾼들이 이제 유닛 수에 맞춰서 침대를 이렇게 만들어줍니다. 미리 더 지어놔야겠네. 서플라이를 더 늘려주고 인구수 최대치를 늘려주는 강화, 연구.
Spiders have spread throughout the underground.
지어주고 안 다니는 땅을 메꿔주는 게 효율이 좋습니다. 효율이 지금 40%밖에 안 돼요. 다이아몬드 무한 단계라서 별로 지을 게 별로 없네. 일단 가스를 빨리 캐야 되는데. 이 정도 인원으로
I am the Queen of Evil.
Blinding beams of light met the dauntless evil's creatures. They briefly squinted at the disgusting brightness. Finally, they grinned, satisfied. At last, they were able to carry the battle to the good people. The armies of evil reached one of those disgustingly good places that had survived the destruction of Twistrom. The ice-cold hand, I mean evil, would deal with it immediately.
필요.
Who do you want dead?
가스를 캐자.
Ouch! Ouch!
Payday. The little town of
그러니까
good
무한이
was
있었는데.
destroyed and turned into a hotbed of evilness.
이다.
Cracks formed on the surface, and something, guess, evil rose from the
여기 안
depths.
줘.
This evilness, in a practical spherical form, was the sweet lifeblood which flowed through the personified evil's veins. It stimulated the armies of evil and swelled their power. All this lofty blah blah without any impact on the game aside, it was another resource primarily or exclusively used for more powerful research. Delicious evilness flowed into the dungeon
여기
heart and
없으니까
filled it with
돌아와서
power. New research was thus made available, which would help the dungeon to even greater power. The impatient evil immediately began to research something.
인구수를 늘려주고 나가를 뽑자.
The progress addicted evil had unlocked some new research and immediately set about trying it out.
Yeah, what is going on here? I feel a disturbance.
스의
The
불기둥.
deeds of the conspicuous evil and its henchmen had not gone unnoticed. As a matter of fact, even a blind man could see the destruction they left behind them. As idiotic heroes do, they sent out a small patrol to scout the area.
Move out, men. Have a look around and report back to me. While I would love to accompany you myself, I'm currently teaching myself to play the ukulele.
일 단계라서 그냥 막아줘야 되겠네. 우와. 꿀밭이다 꿀밭. 막아볼까? 볼 게 없어. 단계라. 나쁘다.
Oh no! The studio burned down. And I was going to come here tonight for Pilates.
There are enemies in your dungeon.
Hey, where does this lead? We should take a closer look.
The first heroes had discovered the not-so-well-hidden evil's dungeon and now entered its depths. Of course, the insidious evil had already prepared a despicable reception for them. So,
Even if that's not the case, I will kill these ridiculous do-gooders myself. They will pay for mocking me over the years. Wait a minute. What am I saying? Those are my friends. How can I plan their deaths?
Talia had chosen an extremely unfavorable time for moral doubts. Luckily, her evil dark elf heritage prevailed. Hey, Talia, you're evil, so act like it.
What? Oh, yeah, okay. Kill them all!
인구수가 중간에 자동 저장이 되니까 여기 안 먹어.
Payday. There are countless spiders pouring out of a room that was accidentally unearthed. Disgusting.
이렇게.
Spiders are eating your goblets.
Huh? The armies of evil here? Damn it all, how did that happen? Time to call out the heavy guns. Right, men, get ready to attack in waves. Excuse me, sir. Wouldn't it make more sense if we attacked all at once? Where's the fun in that? Wave after wave, that's a strategy for real men.
Thanks to the enemy's limited tactical finesse, their destruction was virtually unavoidable. So it was time to decorate for the victory celebration, to get the beer and hire the orc dancers. Okay, maybe not orcs. I shudder at the thought.
They're going to be child's play. Leave them to me. I mean, hold them back and let them hit you while I deal with them.
The second island of the good was mercilessly overrun by the strategically savvy evil's hordes and turned into an evil island. Soon, more of that exquisite evilness would be bubbling to the surface. Excellent. Even better than in Dungeons 2. Not that I'm out to plug it or its fantastic add-on.
빨리 푸시고 가야 돼.
By the goddess of light, what happened here? The whole city is in ruins. I drank a beer right over there just yesterday.
Enemies have entered the dungeon.
오늘 좀 벌어줘야 돼.
There are enemies in your dungeon.
없겠다. 나 들어만 오면 내가 들어서 움직이지. 나가 의사야 의사. 오늘만 있으면 클리어하는데 시장 없겠네.
Yeah?
의 영역을 정복하세요. 준비 건물 2개.
been destroyed. Victory is ours.
마지막이다.
Evil is victorious. Good thing I switched sides.
And so it was that the good camp was destroyed by the battle-wise evil's army. Now it was time to take over all of the good islands, but that would be a cakewalk. Easy as stealing candy from a baby. Candy from a baby? Simple. My ass. Ever tried it? The screaming and crying and fetching their parents and family as reinforcements, and those little beasts bite pretty damn hard. Not that I have any personal experience, of course.
The ultimate, chaotic, absolute, whatever evil will be happy. I am.
허리가 엄청 기네.
Father is gonna be so angry. Do you really know what you're doing? You wanted to be good. You had dedicated yourself to the light. Stop and really think about your deeds.
Can you please just stop with the golem thing?
자,
We
모두
already had too many
지옥으로
Lord of the
만드는데
Rings gags in the
성공했습니다.
last two games. Enough is enough.
Yeah, exactly. Just shut it, good me.
Talia and the destructive evil's army had succeeded in destroying Twistram and the surrounding area. Good no longer existed in this land.
Why? What the hell happened here?
Apparently, not quite all of the good guys were defeated. The dwarven King Grimly, an old drinking buddy of Tanos the Paladin, was just touring the country with his exorbitantly large army to ensure
Dwarf King.
everything was in order. Thank God the foresighted evil had provided for this contingency. The dungeon heart was charged with evilness and enough energy to act as a teleporter. For Talia, of course.
Ooh, good. Then all the best, brave warriors, and stop them! Right! I'm out of here.
With a plop, Talia dissipated and disappeared to a faraway and safe place. The rest of the sacrificing evil's creatures looked astonished as their general fled, but only for a moment, as they already found themselves facing an unpleasant army of good.
This is the work of that damn pointy-eared wench. I always warned Thanos that those miserable dark elves couldn't be trusted. Criminals, the lot of them. But enough is enough. I'm going to find that shifty wench and use her ears as bookmarks.
다음 스테이지.
The shadow of absolute evil. Talia, the dark elf, had the Gehenna stones. After leaving the vestiges of Tristram, Talia set out for the Gehenna stones. They served as
저기
seals to keep the
초기화된
demons
건가?
banished in hell, where Tanos himself had exiled them. Her so-called
지금
After her hasty departure, Talia now found herself a few kilometers, or miles, yards, or stone throws, depending on whatever crazy units are used where you are, away. She had managed to escape Grimly's forces, even if one or two evil creatures had to die. But hey, that comes with the job. The incredibly foresighted evil hadn't brought Talia here for nothing. The ancient Gehenna stones were nearby. Tanos once banished some demonic minions to hell and used these ancient magic relics to seal them there. Unfortunately, it was unclear how these seals could be broken.
I was there back in the day when Tanos banished the demons and sealed the stones. I can open them! But should I really do it? These unearthly beings terrorize the land and... Oh, shut up, good Talia!
So, you know how to open the seal.
자아가
Excellent.
충돌하고
Devious
있었구나.
evil is obviously nobody's fool. It all feels like a real plan.
I just have to get through to the seals. Then I can open them. But I need protection from the elemental guardians while I do so.
Okay, that should be doable. Get Talia to the seals. Guard her while she opens them. First, however, it would definitely be a good idea to build a powerful dungeon in order to be prepared for any heroes stationed in the area.
장을 먼저 주고 미리 크게 넣자. 미리
A room has been excavated in the underground.
네.
There were disgustingly good places near the dungeon, which would look much better as islands of evilness instead, especially since that evilness could be used for new technologies.
What is that unbearable place doing right in front of my dungeon? Disgusting! Creatures, advance! Destroy that thing! Oh, are you sure you want to do that, Talia? Shouldn't we sit down in a circle and talk about it one more time? Are you still here? Honestly, can't you see I'm busy destroying everything that is good? I don't have time for this disassociative identity order nonsense.
Stop doing the Therese and Jeanette thing.
좋네. 분내 때문에라도
It's payday.
There's something funny going on around here. My knee is itching hatching where I caught that arrow. Men, check it out.
The presence of Talia and the conspicuous Evil's army had not gone undiscovered, and the first miserable heroes were already on their way to the dungeon.
Where we will, of course, welcome them appropriately. Move, you lazy dung beetles! Get ready! You always have to be so unfriendly? I mean, really? Can't we just talk about this? I know this really good psychiatrist and... Don't force me to hit myself!
Yes. As our protagonist sank into one of her disputes with herself, the heroes spread across the surface.
Ooh! Hey! Take that!
Enemies have entered the dungeon.
가스를 켜야 되는데.
Tanos must die! I want Tanos's head!
Delicious evilness dribbled into the thereupon feasting evil's dungeon. This could be immediately sacrificed to the excellent idea of completing one or two new research projects.
Hasta la vista, baby!
전원으로 정리를 해주죠.
Enemies have entered the dungeon. There are countless spiders pouring out of a room that was accidentally unearthed. Disgusting. Payday.
Ouch! Ouch! I'll be back.
마지막이겠지?
The homicidal evil had researched the Tinkerer's Cave. This perfidious room was used by the even more perfidious creatures of the Horde to build deadly traps and sturdy doors out of boring old toolboxes. The adventurous evil was keen to try this out right away.
이렇게.
The first Tinkerer's Cave was finished and appeared solid enough. Soon the creatures of the Horde would gather here voluntarily or under the threat of beatings to build dangerous traps for unwary heroes. A vortex could now be built. This excellent room makes it possible to create direct access to Hell by means of teleportation, or the gun from Portal, in order to hire funny, or sometimes not so funny, demons. The very curious evil soon began to build one of these vortexes.
저기가 없다. 빨리 와라.
First vortex was finished. Here, demons could be hired or resurrected after their inglorious death for a tiny fee of mana.
Mana? But I don't have any mana.
That's true. Yes, but luckily the Gehenna stones produced exactly that. What a wonderful coincidence. Payday.
가스가 더 필요하다.
What can I do for you?
업그레이드 좀 시켜.
Who do you want killed? Time to take out the trash. Destroy them all.
느려져.
Who do you want killed?
take a look at this. There's something strange going on here.
A local patrol unhappily stumbled into the area of the Gehenna Stones. They wouldn't leave without a fight, just the way I like it.
Just the way I like it.
Wait a moment, I just said that. Are you trying to steal my lucrative narrator contract? Back off! I know where your car is. There are enemies in your dungeon. Payday.
What's up?
Your dungeon heart is under attack.
여유 있다.
Enemies have entered the dungeon.
골고루 업그레이드를 해주자.
Tanos's head. Just wait. Everything good must die.
자, 이거 부족하고.
Payday. There are enemies in your dungeon.
Throw me at the enemy! What's up? Tanos must die!
뭐야?
The Fuskerhanna stone is very close. Soon I will destroy it. Tanos will be beside himself. Ha 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 ha!
Apparently, there were a few elemental guardians who were not particularly pleased at someone fooling with the stones. They threateningly turned towards Talia. Of course, the defense-orientated evil would protect her at all costs.
Talia, what did you do? Why did you turn back to evil?
Father, I don't know. I keep trying to turn back to good, but a part of me, God, just shut it, you weakling. Thanos, you and your minions always look down on me. Grimly insulted me without you ever saying a word. You drove me to this.
My child, that is not true. Look inside yourself. There's still a spark of good there. Let it guide you. And not this.
Whoops! Looks like I accidentally tripped on a cable or something. Unfortunately, Thanos could not continue to talk to Talia. What a pity. Undeterred, Talia continued to work on breaking the stone seal.
Huh? What? Oh, yes, of course. Soon the seal will be broken. It's done! The seal is broken! Oh, what have I done? May the goddess forgive me. Are you still here? Oh, come on. Can't you pour your heart out somewhere else?
While Talia was occupied with herself, again, the seal was completely broken. Several portals to a strange world opened in the dungeon. From them, a few extremely committed demons immediately sprang, ready to serve the releasing from exile evil. The Gehenna Stones contained a ruthless and mighty magic that not only supplied the dungeon with mana, but was also very dangerous. This posed no problem for the danger-loving evil, as it was far away. Besides, the magic was only supposed to affect the heroes. With the patience of a fox, the insidious evil now waited for a few heroes.
이런 건 원칙이 아닙니다. 파괴 마법을 사용할 시에는 강력한 마법 에너지가 기대될 때 그들에게 적들을 처치하거나 피해를 줄 수 있습니다.
Unfortunately, the Gehenna Stone's magic was not yet available again. Sad, but true.
한 마리 안돼. 누나 좀 괜히 죽였네.
The Gehenna Stone's magic was ready for a new, hopefully deadly attack. As with the first stone, a number of guardians came to life to attack Talia. In its wisdom, the foresight of evil had already prepared for this.
Talia, please, stop doing this. Return to the light. It took me many years, and I had to reload many previous save games before I finally managed to banish all these demons.
Father, I'm trying, but the evil, it's so strong.
Fight it, my child.
Don't forget that this stinker kept you locked up in a place that isn't called the fatiguing library for nothing for the last few years, and that his best friend is a dwarf who hates all elves. I know the narrator should normally be neutral and stay out of the story, but this guy's interjections are getting on my nerves when he's hundreds of miles away.
Right. You're not my father. You just took advantage of me. You claim to be an honest, decent paladin of good, and yet you allowed me to be mocked and insulted. I'm done with you.
Enemies have entered the dungeon. Once Talia had returned to her true nature, she ignored Tanos and turned back to the stones.
This way, hobbits! I mean, evil creatures! Follow me!
Defend the dungeon heart. Payday.
Done. The seal is broken.
Talia had conquered another Gehenna stone. This time, even without an extended dialogue with her split personality.
Well, actually, I was about to...
Good grief, just shut up. Where were we? Oh yes. Once again, a huge jet of mana shot into the sky, and a portal opened. Whether it led to the Winchester Brothers, Buffies, Charmed, or whatever universe, demons ready to kill jumped out. As usual in good games which still have some game time to fill, there was yet a third stone to be conquered. Talia was already on her way. The Gehenna stones pulsed with magic. Their spell was once again available. enemies have entered the dungeon.
I am the queen of...
The third Gehenna stone was very close. And a third time, the Guardians rose to prevent Talia from fumbling with the Gehenna stone. Who would have thought?
불타니까 이제 마법이.
Talia, I beg you.
What? You again? This chap's appearing for the third time already. What is he? The goddamn spirit of Christmas or something? Just shut up and let us get on with the game.
But
That's enough! She's not coming back to you, get it? I reckon that after another 15 or 16 missions, she's gonna beat the ever-loving crap out of you.
But I'm...
My God, you just don't quit, do you? Okay. Talia, your job.
Shut up, Thanos! Can I say something here?
No.
Finally, the last seal has been broken. Death to all that is good! Power to evil!
Indeed. Talia had conquered another of the Gehenna stones. Mana into the sky, demons out of the portal, blah blah blah, and so on. You know the score. Now, only the last of the Gehenna stones had to be taken.
Wait a minute, didn't you say a total of 3 stones? That was the third stone already.
No, you're wrong about that.
No, I am not wrong. You said every good game has 3 goals.
I also said any good game.
True. Not much to say to that.
Talia, normally all good things come in 3s. But after 4 stones, I will try one last time to bring you to your senses. Please stop what you are doing and return to good. Together we can wipe evil from the face of the earth.
Father, never! I will be the queen of evil and destroy all that is good!
These words should make everything crystal clear. Time to take the last stone. Unfortunately, an unsightly rock pile blocked the way to the 4th stone and had to be cleared out of the way.
으씨. 레이드를.
This rock heap was tougher than expected and... What the...
Was it you, my children, are all dead? You will pay for that. I will crush you.
Okay, I didn't see that coming. Of course, the anticipating evil had already expected something like this and plunged into the fight well prepared. The Gehenna Stone spell waited to be once again unleashed upon the sadistic evil's enemies. Crunch, the huge stone monster hit the ground. The stone-hewing evil had triumphed. It debated having a new bathroom built from the remains. Taking the fourth stone was now child's play. So easy, in fact, that we'll just cover it in a short cutscene and spare you all that annoying clicking. All the seals had now been broken, and the demons thirsted to unleash chaos, destruction, and folk music upon the world at the ultimate evil's side. Okay, maybe I made that last point up. Grimly was still searching for the Dark Elf and the evil around her. On the other hand, she had asserted herself against her father Tanos and resisted the forces of good. But by the time his spies, much to their horror, found the Gehenna Stones destroyed, the inconspicuous evil's army had already moved on. The Prince of Hell. Talia had reached the crossing, followed by Tanos, the end of Burger's End. After Grimley's the Ash Spring Swampland, the Gehenna Stones. After leaving the vestiges of Tristram, Talia set out for the Gehenna Stones. They served as seals, the Ash Spring Swamplands, while Grimly Hammerhand's henchmen were looking the Gehenna Stones. After leaving the Ash Spring Swamplands, while Grimly Hammerhand's henchmen were looking for Talia and the Absolute Evil's army, they in turn were slowly marching through the gloom of the Ash Spring Swamplands toward whilst elsewhere, Grimly's scouts took the trouble to turn every stone in their search for Talia, and I mean that literally. She was marching towards the town of Steelsmith, the seat of the Dwarven King. However, after a not in the least bit subtle hint from the not at all tactful evil, she had taken a little detour through the Ash Spring Swamplands. Here, the ancient, cursed bones of long-forgotten soldiers lay uneasy in their graves, waiting only for the necessary nudge to finally rise and play the Talking Dead, or whatever it's called. Unfortunately, and of course purely coincidentally, Grimly, the racist Dwarven King, was also currently in Ash Spring.
Aye, chop more wood. I don't have enough resources. I want to build a barracks to hire knights and foot soldiers. I also need some for these palisades. Which idiot is responsible for this, please? My right toe could build a better defense on its own. Now, fix it, and over there, we'll build a watchtower. Or two.
Grimly is here. Excellent.
여기를 못 들어?
I'll beat every single God's damned prejudice out of that bearded drunk's alcohol-soaked carcass. And some of these undead wannabes lying around here in their graves are going to help me. Let's see how that drunken idiot likes facing a few brain-hungry zombies. Not that he needs to be afraid with that little bird brain of his. Talia, are you sure you don't want to reconsider?
이번 판에 언데드
How
나오는 미션.
low have we sunk? Ugh. Are you still there? I thought I'd finally seen the last of you in the previous mission. Anyway, shut up and let me work. I must raise the living dead.
So in order to start the Night of the Living Dead, our protagonist, the currently eating a chicken leg evil's envoy, had to reach the region's largest cemeteries and recruit their undead. The absolute evil's little snots had dug out a new room. One of the lucky evil's little snots had discovered a hidden arcanium. Here, demons could create valuable mana, which on the one hand they themselves needed, while on the other could also be used for powerful spells. And so it was that the first demon began to generate powerful mana in the arcanium. Ah, delicious mana. I like to spread it on my Sunday morning croissant as my wife passes me a cup of tea and massages my feet as I open the newspaper to the obituaries. But back to the subject. Mana was also important to the couldn't care less about Sunday morning croissants evil because, on the one hand, his higher level demons loved the stuff, and on the other hand, it could be used to cast powerful spells. Of course, the excited evil couldn't wait to promptly try it out. Dragons have nested in the underground.
분들이 지하 둥지를 틀었습니다.
It's payday.
메꾸자.
pointy-eared wenches sneaking around here somewhere. Let's go, men. Double the watches and leave something for me.
Ah, you have no chance against me and the ultimate evil. I can smell your beer breath all the way down into my dungeon, you drunken shrimp.
Spread out and find her.
The presence of the inconspicuous as a rainbow-colored dog evil's army was no longer a secret. In fact, it was amazing it had escaped the warriors of good for so long. Well, their leader was a dwarf and he had lots of beer, but I digress. Hopefully the dungeon's defenses are ready. Uh-oh, a spider nest has been unearthed.
And stay down!
There are enemies in your dungeon.
Not gonna get up. Take that, you worm!
It's payday.
Everything good must...
If you worked any slower, you'd be going backwards.
I am the evil.
There are enemies in your dungeon.
Evil will triumph. Showed him.
여기로 모이게 되어 있으니까 여기다가
It's payday. Enemies have entered the dungeon.
Lead me to the battle! Hey!
지울 건 다 지운 것 같은데.
Oh, I'd love to work with professionals. Just once.
There are enemies in your dungeon. Your creatures have inadvertently dug into a dragon's nest.
Death from above. Tanos must die.
Steel Smith wasn't built in a day, but if you lame asses had been there, the entrance gate still wouldn't be finished!
Tanos must die.
Enemies have entered the dungeon.
야, 씨. 힐이 너무 각인데?
dungeon heart is being attacked.
You undead! Up you get! Fight for me and regain your honor! I am Isildur's heir! I mean, the deathly pale evil's messenger. Fight for me, and I will consider your oath fulfilled. An oath that you never swore! Excuse me, I seem to have mixed a few things up.
Splendid speech. But good enough for the mindless hordes buried here, who excitedly signaled their approval, even if it was with nothing more than a moaned brains. And so, the Walking Dead arose to serve the abominable evil. And of course, his eloquent envoy with the split personality.
Hey! I can't hear you!
I certainly hope so. I don't want to just waste my insults.
We'll talk later. Go, undead. Destroy the living. Take that, you worm!
Smith wasn't built in the day, but if you lame asses had been there, the entrance gate still wouldn't be finished!
Enemies have entered the dungeon. Enemies have entered the dungeon.
monstrous evil, and with a spirited, if moaned, raise, staggered off towards the human defenders, the glorious...
Hey, that's my text. You don't even appear in this dialogue at all.
Your problem for taking such a long ciggy break. I'll take over your job in the long run. That's something we can both agree on.
Are your two personalities conspiring against me? Huh. As a narrator, I am unsurpassed. If you heard the stories I tell in the bar on weekends, forget about that. Additional undead have been secured for the insidious evil. Suddenly, a few dissatisfied bears appeared directly in front of Talia. Exactly, bears. And they attacked.
Hey!
This had nothing to do with a certain narrator's injured pride, but made total sense within the framework of the story. And again, the brain-hungry zombies rose against the human defenses.
What are you doing, you deadbeats? Are you seriously going to let a few old corpses get the better of you? Take care of this vermin before I kick your asses so hard you fly all the way to Stormbreeze, where you can tell Thanos personally what a bunch of goddamn cowards you really are. I'd love to work with professionals. Just once.
Even more undead. Yes, walk my mindless hordes and destroy the living. Do you always have to be so evil? Ugh. Is that a trick question? Naturally! Who, if not me?
And even more undead marched against the human defenses in the glamorous evil's name. They didn't stand a chance. But suddenly, and this had nothing to do with the protagonist's previous insults, evil bears once again appeared to attack Talia.
Hey, it's all right, okay? You can keep your job. I'm sorry.
Almost miraculously, a bolt of lightning hit the bears and killed them on the spot. Amazing. But of course, it all made sense within the greater framework of this story.
멋대로.
And the living dead rose. The dungeon heart is being attacked. The Walking Dead set out to destroy all living things. All good living things, of course. The Walking Dead set out to destroy all living things. All good living things, of course.
가자.
Payday. And again, the brain-hungry zombies rose against the human defenses.
I have to leave you now because I have to prepare something back home. But you hold the fort here. Got it? Good. Take care of them.
With these heroic words, Grimly, the great dwarf king, took to his heels and ran. Some might think it coward.
Yes, the damn coward. But we'll get him and then we'll organize an intervention. We'll tear him a new one.
My goodness, what a turn of phrase. Outrageous. Still, it was a desire I can only agree with. Come on, for the validation-craving evil. And zombies rose from their graves. Walking Dead set out to destroy all living things. All good living things, of course. And the good people's defensive camp went up in flames. The pitiful survivors ran in panic and dispersed in all directions.
Ha! Those cowards! See how they run! Isn't that funny?
It does have something comical about it. Even the zombies emitted a laughing moan before pushing on to get some tasty brains before the others did. The Walking Dead set out to destroy all living things, all good living things, of course. And again, the brain-hungry zombies rose against the human defenses.
What?
It's payday. Zombies rose from their graves.
Now it is time to find Grimly and give him his rightful punishment.
What rightful punishment?
Oh, rightful or not, what do I care? As long as the dwarf suffers!
The lands of Ashspring were wholly under the crazed evil's control. Every now and then, a confused zombie would pop up, even though the living had already been driven out. But that didn't matter, for the absolute evil's hordes set out for Steelsmith, King Grimly's headquarters.
내가 조금 빠르군. 두루마리 연구할 수 있었나?
The Crossing, followed by Tanos, the end of Burger's End, the Battle of Steelsmith, the Ashspring Swamplands. While Grimly Hammerhand's henchmen were looking for Talia and the Absolute Evil's army, the Battle of Steelsmith. Led by Talia, the brutal Evil's army had reached the dwarven town of Steelsmith and made ready to storm it. Inside, the fierce dwarven King Grimly planned its defense.
15마리 이상. 깨면 되는 거잖아. 지옥으로 가자. 생각보다 재밌는데?
All right, you lazy buggers, get ready. That evil horde is going to show up with that pointy-eared cow any moment now, but Steelsmith is a fortress like none they've ever seen. So, take your positions, and don't forget the elf is mine. I'm going to make slippers out of her ears. Did you hear the rumbling? They're here. I feel it in my right corn. Send out the scouts and prepare the death hammer!
Finally, the time of the great battle was at hand. Talia's troops had taken the quickest route from the Ash Spring swamplands, and they were full of anger and determination to win this final confrontation.
I wouldn't say that. I'm still trying to persuade myself to return to the forces of good.
Okay. A part of Talia burned with anger and determination to win this final confrontation. Another wanted to form work groups and look after the bonsai garden.
Ugh, ignore my little moments. I'm going to crush that god's damn dwarf. He's made his last stupid comment about elves. I'm going to make gloves out of his beard.
What's this whole thing about everybody using bits of their opponents for slippers or gloves? That's incredibly unhygienic. The time had come. Talia began to raise a great army for the erratic evil. The excavation happy evil came upon a room in which some dwarves were trapped. No matter how they got there, they didn't look at all grateful.
혼자 잡겠지.
Hey!
잠깐만.
Hasta la vista, baby!
The excavation happy evil came upon a room in which some dwarves were trapped. No matter how they got there, they didn't look at all grateful. And again, the exploratory evil dug up a few trapped dwarves. Obviously, getting trapped while digging seemed to be the order of the day around here.
Talia, open those pointy ears of yours. I have a surprise for you and the Hellspawn. Something world-shaking. Come on, men! Fire the Death Hammer!
The goddess. Is that...
Grimly had had a gigantic hammer built. The Death Hammer. This caused not only a disturbance in the force, but also in the ground, causing a massive earthquake. The effect on the dungeon was clearly noticeable. The dungeon heart in particular could only withstand but a few such blows.
How do you like that, you damned evil brood? Now, we just have to take a few minutes to rewind. But it was damn well worth it. Stay and enjoy the show, evil scum.
In his own lovingly insulting manner, Grimly made it clear to Talia and the perplexed evil that pulling back would not be an option. The giant hammer had to be destroyed.
We can't stay here. That thing has to be destroyed. After analyzing it briefly, I've discovered a great weakness.
Throw something through the 2-meter-wide cooling vent to destroy the reactor?
What? Nonsense! The thing is standing right there, so we can smash it to pieces.
Oh, why did I expect sophisticated tactics when I'm hanging around with bloodthirsty, not exactly intelligent evil creatures?
Just wait.
아이씨, 다 죽었어.
Aye, did you find me lost mine workers, Talia? Nice of you. Right, lads, show her where the hammer hangs.
Enemies have entered the dungeon.
so much for your death hammer, Grimly. Oh, did we break your toy? Are you going to cry like a little baby? Boo-hoo-hoo.
You'll pay for that. Don't be giving yourselves any medals yet. The Dwarven Empire will strike back. Of that you can be sure.
We could still solve this peacefully. You? Now? Really? In my moment of triumph? There is nothing you can't ruin, is there? Sorry. Holy crap! You're even good to me! Sister, you have some real issues. I have to go take care of a Dwarven king and tear his city apart. Follow me to Steelsmith!
Payday.
Ow! No! I'll be back.
There were countless spiders pouring out of a room that was accidentally unearthed. Disgusting.
Talia, did you really think I didn't have another race up my sleeve? I had a second death hammer built. It will tear your dungeon apart. Move it, men.
Another one of those
신령하시다.
things? Ah, damn it all anyway. Get ready for impact!
With a kaboom! The second death hammer hit on the ground and sent its destructive waves toward the dungeon. The dungeon heart groaned under the blow. This death hammer also had to be destroyed quickly in order to save the dungeon heart.
Just to make sure nothing happens to my poor little hammer, I also built an SLD-26 magical tower shield generator. So knock yourselves out!
Generously, the foolish Dwarf King Grimly revealed the safety mechanisms to the listening and taking notes evil. Before the second death hammer could be turned off, a team would have to land on Endor. I mean, the eager for a Star War evil had to destroy the magic shield.
Right then. First, we'll destroy the magical tower, and then Death Hammer number 2. No problem. We're good at breaking things.
Enemies have entered the dungeon. Defend the dungeon heart.
언제 나도. 있다.
That Talia sure can't take much. There she goes, dropping again.
욕심 부렸다.
Your dungeon heart is under attack.
Back again.
It's payday.
망했다.
Oh.
Your dungeon heart is under attack.
와. 어이없네
The
진짜.
accustomed to losing evil's dungeon was but rubble and ashes. Grimly once again laughed heartily, then set about digging Talia out in order to make slippers from her ears. But we don't need to show that and gratefully fade out.
미션 실패다. 62분짜리.
All right, you lazy buggers, get ready. That evil horde is...
I wouldn't say that. I'm still trying to persuade myself to return to the forces of good.
Okay. A part of Talia burned with anger and determination to win this final confrontation. Another wanted to form work groups and look after the bonsai garden.
Ugh, ignore my little moments. I'm going to crush that god's damned dwarf. He's made his last stupid comment about elves. I'm going to make gloves out of his beard.
What's this whole thing about everybody using bits of their opponents for slippers or gloves? That's incredibly unhygienic. The time had come. Talia began to raise a great army for the erratic evil.
아, 왜 수비를 못했지? 아.
Everything good must... Ooh, ah!
Hey, Talia, open those pointy ears of yours. I have a surprise for you when the hells spawn. Something world-shaking. Come on, men! Fire the Death Hammer!
By the goddess! Is that...
Grimly had had a gigantic hammer built. The Death Hammer. This caused not only a disturbance in the force, but also in the ground, causing a massive earthquake. The effect on the dungeon was clearly noticeable. The dungeon heart in particular could only withstand but a few such blows.
How do you like that, you damned evil brood? Now, we just have to take a few minutes to rewind the thing, but it was damn well worth it. Stay and enjoy the show, evil scum.
In his own lovingly insulting manner, Grimly made it clear to Talia and the perplexed evil that pulling back would not be an option. The giant hammer had to be destroyed.
We can't stay here. That thing has to be destroyed. After analyzing it...
Again, the expansive evil's little snots accidentally threw something through the 2-meter-wide cooling vent to destroy the reactor.
What? Nonsense! The thing is standing right there, so we can smash it to pieces!
Oh, why did I expect sophisticated tactics when I'm hanging around with bloodthirsty, not exactly intelligent evil creatures? Enemies have entered the dungeon.
Time for the Death Hammer!
It's payday. The excavation happy evil came upon a room in which some dwarves were trapped. No matter how they got there, they didn't look at all grateful. Enemies have entered the dungeon.
going to tear that damn dungeon apart.
이번엔 깨겠다.
It's payday. There are enemies in your dungeon.
I will destroy this land.
daughter. Reconsider your deeds. You can still turn back. No one need die today. Except these disgustingly evil creatures, perhaps, but certainly neither Grimly nor you.
This bloke is more stubborn than those phone marketing people who are always trying to get me to buy some shite.
I too think that we should maybe rethink this. It is now time for dwarves to die!
The deathly pale evil had erected a cemetery. From now on, it could supply its own walking dead. Practically enough, heroes who had kicked the bucket were dropped here and then turned into brainless zombies. As an alternative, banshees could also be inspired to join the burning evil's army there. Payday. Heroes are on their way to one of your islands of evilness.
Bye-bye, baby!
The excavation happy evil came upon the room in which some dwarves were trapped. No matter how they got there, they didn't look at all grateful.
Take that!
Uh-oh. a spider nest has been unearthed.
Him.
Time for the Death Hammer!
Yeah? I am even stronger! Here. Good will fall! Ha! So much for your death hammer, Grimly. Oh, did we break your toy? Are you going to cry like a little baby? Boo-hoo-hoo.
You'll pay for that. Don't be giving yourselves any medals yet. The Dwarven Empire will strike back. Of that you can be sure.
We could still solve this peacefully. You? Now? Really? In my moment of triumph? There is nothing you can't ruin, is there? Sorry. Holy crap! You're even good to me! Sister, you have some real issues. I have to go take care of a Dwarven king and tear his city apart. Follow me to Steelsmith!
The having a look around evil's army had discovered a stone here. Just a little brute force, and it would fall into the ravine to form something like a bridge. Computer game logic.
Oh, this evil's diminished faster than I thought. We have to speed things up. All right, men. Activate the second Death Hammer!
Another one of those things? Ah, damn it all anyway. Get ready for impact!
With a kaboom! The second Death Hammer hit on the ground and sent its destructive waves toward the dungeon. The dungeon heart groaned under the blow. This Death Hammer also had to be destroyed quickly in order to save the dungeon heart.
Just to make sure nothing happens to my poor little hammer, I also built an SLD-26 magical tower shield generator. So knock yourselves out!
Generously, the foolish Dwarf King Grimly revealed the safety mechanisms to the listening and taking notes evil. Before the second Death Hammer could be turned off, a team would have to land on Endor. I mean, the eager for a Star War evil had to destroy the magic shield.
Right then. First, we'll destroy the magical tower, and then Death Hammer number 2. No problem. We're good at breaking things.
Enemies have entered the dungeon. Defend the dungeon heart. Enemies have entered the dungeon. Heyday.
what?
Pretty clever of me to have a second death hammer built. Hands off my SLD-26 magical tower shield generator!
Hey, Grimly, your toys break easily. My pals barely got their hands on it and it broke. So, people, let's have a look at this second death hammer, shall we?
Keep your hands to yourself and I'll bite your fingers off, you goddamned wench. Right, men, prepare the death hammer!
Grimly seemed a little desperate upon seeing the occasionally gigging as a stand-up comedian evil turned out to be a brilliant strategy. It relentlessly sent its armies towards the second death hammer.
Who do you want dead? Are pretty fragile, aren't they? Grimly, I think I accidentally broke both your hammers. I'm so sorry.
I'll strangle you with my bare hands, Gil! You goddamn disgusting!
In order to make sure we don't have to cut out all of Grimly's cursing, I'll just take over here. The brilliant evil had succeeded. the second dwarven hammer was also hit, and its army marched inexorably towards the dwarven town of Steelsmith. Something else permeated the smell of metalworking that wafted from the city towards the dungeon. The smell of the dwarves' fear.
For good reason, too. We're going to tear their city apart. We could still return to the side of good. Let me think about it for a second. No.
Hey, Talia, I have a surprise for you. You know that all good things come in threes?
Honestly, do you have another one of those damn death hammers?
A death hammer? Ha! I have 3 death hammers!
What? The whole thing times 3? Not very imaginative, if you ask me. You are so...
Stop! Hammer time!
Together, the 3 death hammers had a lot more power than a single one. It would certainly be better for the dungeon heart if they too were quickly put out of action.
Evil is unstoppable! And stay down! Everything's going to die.
So, that's the way you want it. I'll take care of you myself. For death and glory, the horn of Grimly Hammerhand shall sound in the deep one last time. Men, let this be the hour when we draw swords together. Now for wrath, now for ruin, and for Red Dawn!
Finally, we meet. Your final hour has come. I'm the Queen of Evil.
You pay for this, you damn brat!
With these words, Grimly the Dwarven King breathed his last.
A well-earned victory for evil! Ha! All the legends and stories that revolve around good heroes. Utter nonsense. In the end, evil will always triumph. Time to enjoy my victory.
Talia, what have you done? You killed Grimly. I will have to punish you for this. Stay where you are. I'll be there in a couple of hours.
Apparently, Tanos was anything but enthusiastic about his foster daughter's deeds. The insightful evil knew that a confrontation was not yet advisable and ordered Talia to travel west, always west.
We could always wait for Father and try to explain everything to him. Oi, 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 oh, come on. Even my good side can't be that naive. He'll skin me alive if he gets his hands on me. There's no way I should get anywhere near him until his anger is cooled. Oh, unfortunately, I'm afraid I have to agree with my evil me. We should let the grass grow over the whole thing first.
Oh, good and evil in agreement. A rare stroke of luck, I'd say. So it was time to run.
10분 정도 빨리 깼다.
Here, the only problem was, as usual, his own death. After the Dwarven King Grimly suffered a premature death at the hands of the hero-beating evil's armies, the Dark Elf Talia got herself out of dodge. She took the evil creatures and retreated into the tunnels and mines of Steelsmith, which were connected to the most remote places in the world. The hasty departure proved to be very wise indeed, for shortly afterwards, Tanos appeared on the scene, and with him, a mighty army of good. When he found his dwarven friend's lifeless body, he screamed his pent-up anger out into the world, as overly emotional heroes are often prone to do. A few hours later, Tanos gathered with his 2 remaining comrades and commanders in his tent. We will now repeat approximately what was said. I, the evil will destroy us. We are lost. Wail, wail, and so on. In the end, Tanos called his fellow soldiers to order and commanded them to return to their respective empires and strengthen their defenses.
거기
So it was
놀러
time
왔어.
to do what all good folks do. Hide themselves behind thick walls in fear and hope that the storm would pass them by and hit the others. How exceedingly honorable. In the meantime, Tanos sent out some spies to track down his evil student. The Dark Elf had, by then, beaten her way through the mines of Steelsmith, accidentally awakened an army, and fled from a whip-swinging demon. The usual stuff that happens when traveling through dwarven tunnels. At least they had left Tanos and the armies of good far behind them, and now moved almost unmolested through the countryside, determined to continue spreading chaos and horror. The storming of Doloran, the Prince of Hell. Talia had reached Termite Island, the crossing, followed by Tanos, the end of Burger's End. Led by Talia, the brutal evil's army had reached the end of Burger's End. After Grimly's inglorious end, the insidious evil's army had gone through the mines of Steelsmith to escape Tanos' armies.